Tape time on Rauta. This time we have 3 smaller releases, all from the underground obviously, and I'm gonna, put them in worst to best according to my opinion. Obviously feel free to disagree. Roughly putting these in the alphabetical order. First, Iku-Turso, pagan black metal from the north, Oulu, Finland. Then we have Plague Vessel, death metal or death doom band from Helsinki, the capital city, or that area, metropolitan area, and then Vermithor, another death metal band from Finland, but this is probably around the middle of Finland, well, give or take. Now, let's do them in the according to my opinion, worst to best, and I'll explain the style, the music, what you're supposed to get out of this, and of course links are provided in the description box so you can start listening on your own these bands what you feel like. First, Plague Vessel. This is a very new band. There was no information about when the band was founded, but given that this first release EP, it's called officially, but you can call it demo tape as well, doesn't really matter, is from 2025, so very, very baby aged band at this point. As you can see, this is a very simple J card. There are 4 people in the band and the music is old school death metal. When I said in the beginning, the intro, that this is kind of a death doom, well, you can box it either way. You can call it mid-tempo, slow-tempo death metal, the old school rough and all that, but you could also kind of elaborate on that and put it into Death Doom box. Now, why would I choose that is exactly because this reminds me very early Paradise Lost stuff and the other stuff coming from UK around that era. I'm talking about the debut album of Paradise Lost, before they added melodies and all that into the game, and when the songs were just like about, crushing atmosphere, dark, and not that gothic which they started going on later on. So it is all about being rough, raw, heavy, and dark also. Obviously, you don't get that really UK feeling with the songs because there is not this early My Dying Bride Anathema kind of stuff, but roughly, we're still talking about the same box here. Where it goes slow, there are some bursts that it kind of gets a little bit speedier than that, but mostly it's about mid-tempo stuff and slower. The production, however, is very, very rough. Too rough, in my opinion, for this kind of music. I mean, it kind of sounds heavy, but at the same time, it really sounds like you don't either have proper equipment or proper understanding how to make it sounding good. And it gets really mushy when you just speed up a little bit. It becomes like chaotic and not that good. I mean, think about the early black metal demo tapes when you're like, okay, I don't know even what they're playing. It's that kind of stuff. Other than that, the riffs are pretty okay, but then again, nothing outstanding. I mean, if this had come out in, say, 1989, probably eyebrows would be raised, but this is some 35 years late in order to, really make some waves. Obviously, there are always some old school people who are like, yeah, I've been wishing Winter to do a comeback and all that stuff, or make that early Paradise Lost kind of stuff, but with this tape, yeah, it's very, very much work in progress. It's not bad by no means, but 2 things, in my opinion, need to be changed in order to this, become really interesting. And that is more memorability, just more interesting riffs, better songwriting and all, and way better production. Now it's going to the box where all the gray area demos are dwelling. Then we go to northern part of Finland with Iku-Turso, and this is not your normal tape. It comes like this beautiful sleeve. This is Wolfheart, technically speaking, also an EP. It almost seems like the classic demo tapes are gone. Everything is nowadays an EP instead. This comes with a Bandcamp code, as always with Korpituli production tapes. So there is also that if you just want to have your tapes for, I don't know, collecting items and all. This comes with better looking J-card than most of it, meaning there are proper photos of the given band. There are obviously the recording information, the cover, and on the other side you will have the lyrical output. Mind you, the sun is doing its tricks here and I don't have the proper set of curtains here to stop it from coming. But you can already see it here, so you pretty much know what is going on. Now, it's curious that Iku-Turso has been here about since like 8 years, so 2017 or so, and they have almost 3 times the amount of EPs and splits and whatever compared to their 3 albums. So they're more an EP or split band rather than going full albums. But they do have 3 albums also out. So it's been very, very active bands in that sense. I mean, 3 albums and a bunch of EPs and splits within about 8 years. Iku-Turso's pagan black metal has always been very much like inspired by bands like Emperor and the like. Not the later era Emperor, but the early stuff. I mean, you have the keyboards, you have a little bit of that epic pagan black metal feeling. We could also be talking about early Behemoth stuff rather than anything more modern than that. So it's not really that symphonic like, later Emperor in the sense, not driven by keyboards, not by bombastic big ass production, but kind of a more back to the roots. It's not really lo-fi either. I mean, you can hear the instruments just fine and it's very fitting for this kind of music, but it's more on that pagan black metal thing. That means some of the songs are quite lengthy, or 8 minutes mark, which is sometimes too much. Goes with, especially with the third track in this case, with this just feeling like too much of a filler. Then again, the first track is also beyond 8 minute marks and it just works fine. There are 5 tracks in total, and the last one is Emperor cover, which then again is way better than anything done by Iku-Turso. I'm sorry to have to say it out loud, but this is also one of the reasons you shouldn't really do the kind of a covers of some excellent bands which you are in the same genre with, because they will, just outshine you. But it is what it is. This is overall almost 30 minutes of music, and for that, it's, in my opinion, worth the money. Like I said, the production is fine, the screamy vocals are pretty good, and I can't really bitch about anything else except for the third track being overly lengthy. I mean, rather than almost 9 minutes, it would probably make a nice 4-5 minutes of a song, but that's a small complaint in the end. Pretty solid release, and once again kind of emphasized the feeling that Iku-Turso is a little bit hit and miss kind of a band, but more on the hit side rather than missing side. So if you like traditional second wave pagan black metal, Iku-Turso is a very solid choice. Only a little bit better is this one I chose to be the best of the pile this time. This is Vermithor's first release. This is also a very new band, much like the Plague Vessel, founded in 2024, but these guys are not that new. I mean, they have had other bands. This is just a new band with some older guys. They play very traditional death metal, so not that far from Plague Vessel, and this J-card has no lyrics, no photos whatsoever. It's just the cover and the recording information whatsoever. Nowadays the band has, again, 4 members. There's I think a new bass player. The old one just got out of the band and they replaced it, so they're playing live now too. So they have this one EP out, about, I think it was something like 20 minutes or so, and this is like going back to the roots of death metal. If some of the ideas sound like, say, second album of Wolfheart, it's kind of roughly where it's taking you, but it's not like they sound both over altogether. What I'm saying here is that they sound heavy, they sound very simple in the sense of the riffs and all that stuff, and proper growly vocals, etc, etc. So it's almost like, once again, going back to the 90s with its old school death metal take. If you're looking for something new, or reinventing the wheel, or creating some kind of new nuances into the whole game, you're looking for a wrong band. But if you're just cool to settle down with some old school death metal done properly, this is the way to go. So what separates this from, Plague Vessel, for instance, since they're both in the same video and roughly the same age, is that this has better sound and the, songs have more energy and also more tempo. But in case you prefer more death doom approach, maybe Plague Vessel is more your cup of tea. So in case you're wondering, how do I do this worst to best kind of a thing? There's no big difference. None of them are really A-list bands at this point, obviously. They're very new still, and with this kind of a demo-ish appearance, yeah, that remains to be seen where these bands go, given enough time and all. But yeah, I would say this is roughly the order I would put them. Maybe some days I would change it, but they're all definitely worth giving a shot. And obviously, links provided in the description box. Start listening and start liking. And should you have any comments or questions, let me know in the comments box below. Bye.